Super Bowl Sunday is behind us, but it's Super Monday across the state of Minnesota for high school girls basketball. One big game is taking place right here at Concordia Academy in Roseville, where the 10-8 Beacons, who have not lost a game since the start of the calendar year, host the Mayor Lutheran Crusaders. Mayor Lutheran 16-3, the number 6 team in the Class A poll. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden. Matt Pryor, my broadcast partner, will join me momentarily. This is becoming a multi-sport rivalry of sorts. Concordia Academy and Mayor Lutheran play each other in volleyball every year, but they had not played each other in basketball for about 10 years. They're hoping to renew that rivalry tonight, and there are a lot of big-name athletes for these small schools. Concordia Academy in Class 2A lost their first 6 games of the year as their offense was retooled with the loss of Lydia Leisure to graduation. But Ivane Tensaie is worth the price of admission and more. Last week, she became Concordia Academy's all-time leading scorer, dropping 34 in a win over Matamidi. She also has back-to-back 40-point games to her credit. And if she continues this torrid pace of offense, she has a good chance of reaching 2,000 points by the end of the season. She leads the state in 3-point field goals with 79, and her perimeter attack creates a lot of opportunities for the Concordia Academy offense, and that win over Matamidi solidified them as a contender in 4AA. Mayor Lutheran, they don't have a superstar scorer, but they find a way to get it done, building off that core from a year ago. Picked up a big win over the Class 2A defending champion Minnehaha Academy Redhawks earlier this season. And the front three in scoring, any of them can have a big night. Folks like Morgan Shimileski, Emma Lade, and Lexi Sherman. Nobody has scored more than 24 points for the Crusaders, but that balance is something you rarely see in Class A. That being said, they are shorthanded tonight. Lily Wachholz suffered an avulsion fracture and cannot play, so the Crusaders are without a big source of rebounding and scoring, but their depth will be on full display tonight. This should be a fun one. We'll be back to call this game. You're watching high school girls basketball. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. And we rejoin you at Concordia Academy in Roseville, and joining us is Matt Pryor. Matt, this gym, a familiar one to you, I presume.
Lots of good memories here in this gym. It's a good thing to be back.
And not only that, but you've seen these two teams, of course, Concordia and Minnehaha in the same section. You also had to go up against Mayor Lutheran. Now, in the open, we noted Wachholz not playing tonight with an avulsion fracture, but as you saw, they have a lot of depth for a Class A team.
They're a really, really talented team. As I told my team after we played them, this is going to be a 1A state tournament team. They're very talented. They're coached very well. They play their system well. This is going to be a good game tonight here.
And for Concordia, they went through a retooling after losing Lydia Leisure. Had a rough start, but when you look at the number of close games they had, your game was one of them. The Beacons, they're 10-8 now, but they are just a few points away from being a 15-win team, much like Mayor Lutheran.
Anytime you lose a player like Lydia Leisure, there's always going to be an adjustment period that comes with that. They seem to have gotten their feet back underneath them, though. I think playing that conference schedule has helped them get a little bit of confidence, and Ivane is shooting the lights out right now. And when she's hot, that just gets the rest of the girls going, and they're a tough team to beat.
The Beacons have won 9 in a row. Here's the starting 5. For Mayor Lutheran, it will be Morgan Shimileski, number 2. The Shimileski, a well-known family for the Crusaders. Emma Lade, number 3. Lexi Sherman, number 11. Olivia Chernagle, number 12. And Brooke Paulsrud starting in place of Wacols, number 25. Concordia will start. Grace Lambic, number 2. Ivane Tensaie, number 3. Sydney Hackett, number 4. Sydney Pelzer, number 10. And Grace Coltis, number 15. This rivalry, a prevalent one in volleyball. The two schools often play each other. Basketball went on a hiatus. These two used to be rivals back in the day, and Chris Gustin, head coach and athletic director at Mary Lutheran, said he's hoping to rekindle that rivalry.
Absolutely, and with how talented both of these teams are, I would not be surprised if that basketball rivalry gets reignited here.
Tip is won by the Crusaders, and they waste little time attacking. Brooke Paulsrud with the layup. That's Grace Coltis on the drive. She squeezes through the hole.
She's been a really nice addition for this Beacons team. Transferred in, and she's played big-time minutes for them. She's a tough matchup, too. She's a big guard. Tough matchup for any girl out there on the perimeter or down low.
And I have to imagine a great compliment for Ivane Tensaie and that perimeter range of hers.
Without a doubt, anytime you get another girl who can put the ball in the hole, that's a worthy addition.
Well, Ivane Tensaie, who's bringing up the ball, back-to-back 40-point games this season. This time she played facilitator. Beacons stay with it. Second chance bucket for Sydney Pelzer, one of the volleyball crossovers. The Beacons, a perennial contender in 2A volleyball.
Yeah, Mary Lutheran looks like they came out in a bit of a junk defense here. A couple missed rotations there. It looks like they're trying to stop Ivane from getting touches here. Curious to see how that plays out.
Well, as you know, this Concordia team, 9 straight wins, including a big one over Matamidi. And with the number of crossover athletes, both of these schools are strong volleyball programs. A lot of them play this sport as well. Just a lot of athleticism, versatility with these two lineups.
Small school athletics. You know, when you don't have a large pool of athletes to draw from, you're oftentimes going to get a lot of multi-sport athletes. And there's advantages and disadvantages of both, but without a doubt, a lot of just really solid athletes here on the floor.
MLA drains the runner. It's 4-4. There's Coltis. Out to Tensaie. Missed the 3 there, but Pelzer got in there for the offensive rebound. Beacons keep control. Tensaie. No lack of assertiveness on her part.
If you don't get bodies on Grace Lambic and Sydney Hackett, they're just going to rebound the heck out the basketball here tonight. Those girls are like golden retrievers going after the basketball. They'll track it down wherever it goes. Got to put bodies on them.
Little give and go. And Coltis, I think, got the block there. Tensaie hit 10 of 13 from three-point range, and Concordia's won over St. Agnes. And 9 triples against Maranatha. That helped her rack up those 40-point back-to-back efforts. And Concordia controlling the glass right now. Dead ball rebound to the Crusaders, but the way Concordia is attacking the boards, if Mary Lutheran can't find a way to contain them, the Beacons could get some second chance points as the game moves along.
Yeah, Mary Lutheran right now is face guarding Grace. Both Graces and Ivane right now, they are leaving Pelzer and Hackett unchecked. They're just leaving 2 girls down low in the paint. I think it's hurting them a little bit in terms of matching up, finding box outs. But it's certainly going to limit touches to the 3 guards they're trying to take away.
That being said, nice backdoor play for Olivia Chernagle. Fun story regarding her last name. I'll get to that in the next Mary Lutheran possession.
Yeah, they're just going to dare some of these auxiliary players to shoot the ball.
Rebound, MLA. So Olivia Chernagle, her last name is Norwegian, and it stands for tar nail, in reference to coating nails in tar on boats to make sure they don't corrode.
That's a fun fact right there.
Mare Lutheran turns it over. And for Concordia, it can be a little confusing if you haven't seen them before because in their starting lineup they have 2 Graces and 2 Sydneys. That's not something you see often. Tensaie went to go back up top and Mare Lutheran got the interception. Sherman through the hole, nothing doing. Sydney Hackett comes up with it. Here's Landvik. Whoa. It's getting a little frenetic down there.
Morgan's a really tough on-ball defender there for Mare Lutheran. She's going to give whoever she's guarding problems all night.
Here's a stat. I'm not sure you would enjoy this, but Mare Lutheran, in their win over Minnehaha, Morgan and MLA both had double-doubles in that game.
You know, Coach Chris is a really good coach. You always know you're working with a good coach when they're running a system that fits their personnel and the kids execute it really, really well. And credit to Mare Lutheran, you know, they were the better team that night. I think we were something like 3 for 26 behind the arc, but they ran their system, they played it well, and they execute. That's always a sign of a good team.
Beacons travel it, so Mare Lutheran will get the ball back. And the Crusaders, they were a sub-500 team last year and brought back a lot of those pieces to turn that into a 16-3 mark. And as you said, forget the class designation. They are a tough team, and
a lot of upperclassmen that get minutes. When you got upperclassmen that get minutes, you got a coach like Chris who's been there a while. Kids get comfortable in the system. They play it well.
How about Grace Coltis? 5'10 senior gets the steal on the run out.
Mare Lutheran's got to take care of the ball. They run a flex offense. It's a really nice offense, but you got to be sharp with your passes. There you go. There you go.
Foul before the shot. And speaking of offense, the two teams similar in scoring. Concordia averaging 63 a game, Mare Lutheran 66. And
turnovers are hurting Mare Lutheran early.
Well, it can hurt anybody. Tensaie steps into a 3, pure. And if she gets going from 3-point range, Mare Lutheran could be in big trouble.
It's over, and if you let Ivane get going early, it's going to be a long night for your defense there. You got to limit her touches and don't let her get clean looks at the rim, because if she does, like I said, it's going to be a long night.
I remember you told me last summer the one regret you had from your one season coaching at Concordia was not making Tensaie a captain when you got to see her tenacity, her drive, and it's cool to see her blossom into the player she is. As I mentioned in the open, she could have 2,000 points by the end of this season. She already has the school record, so if things go well for Ivane, she could obliterate the previous record holder, Janet Cobbs. That record stood for 35 years.
Without a doubt. I mean, Ivane's an incredible player. She works harder than everybody. She gets in, she shoots early, she puts up shots after practice, she spends time in the weight room working on her body. The girl lives and breathes basketball. I'm happy for it. And it's always cool when you see a kid who puts in that much time and investment in the game and see it pay off the way it is for her. She's a great player, and she deserves everything that's coming her way.
Now, I'm looking at some of these numbers, and Matt, you might want to address this because right now your Redhawks are averaging 66.6 points per game. So I don't know if the 666 might rattle some nerves over it.
Hey, I would certainly like to see that number get above 66.6 there, yeah. But anytime you can score above 60 points in girls basketball, you're always going to give yourself a chance to win.
Julia Card scored for the Crusaders. And have a little fun here as we have two parochial schools. Matt coaches one, and so obviously you're not worried about averages like that.
Great finish. Great finish with the left hand. She's a nice player.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are conscious about your scoring average in that sense, but
We'll take what we can get.
Right. Well, hey, if you're leading the section, regardless of the number, that's a good sign. As you said, it puts yourself in position to win. And Brooke Paulsrud will put herself in position to the free throw line.
Foul is on number 10. That's Sydney Pelzer's first personal foul.
Mayor Lutheran will run about 8, 9 deep. They'll push the tempo when they like their advantage. Otherwise, they'll just get into that half-court set and flex you to death there. If you're not sharp communicating your screens, you get caught on a cross screen or a UCLA cut. They're tough to defend against for a whole game because all they do is they'll catch you sleeping, and they'll expose you.
Paulsrud gets the back end. She averages 5.1 points per game and 3.4 rebounds. Again, getting more minutes without Lily Wackles. Tensaie through the hole, and she'll shoot 2. Tensaie averaging about 22 a game. Here's a fun fact. You may know this, Matt. Ivane does not like peanut butter or chocolate.
I did not know that.
So if Reese's, if you are considering any kind of endorsement deal when she becomes a pro, don't bother. She's not a peanut butter chocolate fan.
Well, hey, it's obvious she spent a lot of time in the weight room, and those aren't exactly great post-workout meals, so it seems to be working out for you.
Although I think your team has like a weekly donut breakfast on
Donut club.
Saturdays. The donut club, yes.
Saturdays we show up, we shoot, we lift weights, and then we do donut club. It's become a fun tradition we do with the girls. This is something I started doing here at Concordia, and been happy to carry that over to Minnehaha.
Well, Tensaie getting 1 of 2, at least 10 games this year with 20 or more, and then back-to-back 40-point games. And Mayor Lutheran scoring. Paulsrud up to 5.
They lull you to sleep and then catch you as soon as they got you.
And Paulsrud, she's got 5 in the early going. Lenny Drack with the pump fake, number 20, and then the kick out right to Paulsrud, and the Beacons catch a break.
Mayor Lutheran's got some really nice length, too. No girls that are crazy tall here, but their guards are all long. Deflected pass right on cue.
Wackles would bring them a little more length, and when she returns, that will help Mayor Lutheran. Three on the way. Laney Drack drills it.
That's great right there. If Concordia's auxiliary players can give them points here, they're going to win this ball game.
As you were saying, Mayor Lutheran daring the others to shoot, and if they
That's
start finding a
beautiful pick and
groove,
roll.
backdoor play, nothing doing. If the other players, like you say, get involved, that's going to open things up for Tensaie. Tough drive by Coltis. That doesn't go in. We're tied at 13.
Gotta stop her in transition.
Paulsrud for 3. Yes! Brooke Paulsrud, 8 points. As you know, next woman up in the case of the Mayor Lutheran girls here, and so no Lily Wackles. Brooke Paulsrud isn't facing her a bit. She looks just as comfortable out there.
I said it earlier, they're going to run 8 or 9 deep. All 5 girls are going to put on the floor, are going to be able to shoot the basketball, and that's just tough to defend. When you got 5 scoring threats out there, you got to make sure you're marked up and got to make sure you're sharp with your rotations on defense, because they will catch you sleeping and they'll make it hurt.
And you noted with small schools, a lot of crossover athletes, and that goes for Chris Gustin as well. He's the athletic director at Mayor Lutheran, so he's balancing those duties and coaching, much like your predecessor, Josh Thoreau, did for several years at Minnehaha.
There seems to be a theme with athletic directors going over and coaching girls basketball. I'm hoping that can extend over into my career.
I was going to say, well, you already, you're the AD at St. Thomas More, if I'm correct.
Yes,
so
I am.
You already.
It's funny how that crossover works.
Right. So I'm not sure if Tiffany Stubbs has any plans of becoming AD at Concordia anytime soon. But
I'm sure she makes too much money at her job she's at there yet. Tough board.
Well, Tiffany was telling me that I might have to do some sort of exchange and have her call a mini haha game since I brought you here to call a Concordia game. So that neither of you can claim an advantage if you meet in sections.
Well, maybe I'll have somebody saying nice things about me then. It'd be good to get around that.
I don't think that's too hard, no.
Nice take.
And that will get free throws for Emilade.
Yeah, this one's going to be a dogfight. Two very different teams in regards to their styles of play, but talented players. They're going to control the tempo. They're going to run their systems. Should be a good game.
All right, I thought it was a shooting foul, but it's a side out instead. Nice drive. Morgan Shimileski drawing the contact, puts it in. That's her first basket. All players have scored for Mare Lutheran who have entered the floor.
So yeah, now Mare's going to a triangle and 2 here with Grace Coltas out the game.
Three
That's
on
how
the
you
way.
heard it. That's how you heard it right there. I believe that's her second triple of the night now.
It is.
She got a nice shot for only a freshman there. She didn't get minutes early in the year when we played Concordia, but she's got a nice little stroke. And she's making it hurt. They're leaving her unchecked out there on the perimeter.
Shimileski inside to Chernagle. Pass deflected.
Yeah, they're missing their size.
Drock feeling it. 3-ball corner pocket. She averages 4 points a game. And Tiffany Stubbs was telling me as the season went along, Concordia becoming more comfortable with a more guard-oriented style of play, and that showed in the win over Matamidi. Wow. Oh no, that's tough. Right. And a jump ball, Concordia with the arrow. I'm sure you've had your share of those, Matt. You get wide open on the backdoor cut and miss the layup, and that stings for a little bit.
Those are the ones as a coach that give you some gray hairs, without a doubt.
6:26 left in the first half, 19-18. A battle of two rivals. Tensaie with the side fade. Look out. Pure.
That's just too easy. Too easy. And that's a tough shot. Off balance, has to get her feet set and pull the trigger, and Ivane just makes it look easy.
I have to imagine you didn't look forward to going against her
Not at all.
these last
Not
couple
at
of
all.
years.
That's the type of matchup that keeps you up at night thinking about it, without a doubt.
Suppose the good news when you took the mini haha job, you got to work with me at Curtis. The bad news is you have to go against Ivane.
Pick your poison, huh?
Well, it doesn't hit the three there, but as I said before, when you hit numbers like 10 of 13 against St. Agnes, Ivane can turn it up at any point in the game.
And they got a girl following Ivane everywhere, but they got to do a little bit better job of denying her touches. You know, when you got a girl face guarding Ivane, following her all over the court, you can't let her get the ball back once she gives it up, because she is dynamic with the ball in her hands.
Concordia swings it out. Hackett can't hit the three.
Nice block. Got a rip.
The Beacons really attacking on offensive rebounds, having some trouble with second chance points, but the way they're just getting after Mare Lutheran, you speak of the length and athleticism for the Crusaders, the Beacons are doing a lot of pesky speed in there.
When you're an undersized team, you got to board tough, and that starts with being scrappy, not giving up on a ball. You might not necessarily be able to high point it, but if you can go down and dig on a post after they get a rebound, that's always a nice way to get some cheap boards.
Scrappy was the word I was looking for, but that's what the Beacons are doing.
Cross screen. Oh, you got to hit her.
Crusaders looking to penetrate. Concordia not giving them any lanes.
Here's that flex. They'll be very, very patient, lull you to sleep, expose you as soon as you make a mistake.
In that case, Sydney Pelzer read the pass.
Uh-oh.
Drock again. Well, I guess she's human. And a foul on the Beacons. The flex offense, you can run that, of course, at the high school level with no shot clock here. But like you said, you've got to be patient with it. And most teams I cover, they don't run sets that last longer than 30, 35 seconds. So on the defensive side, if you run for longer than that, that's where you can catch an opponent falling asleep.
Oh, and the trend of the game, too. Everybody loves the three ball. Everybody wants to play fast. And we've seen that carry over all the way to the high school level. Not a lot of teams that'll play a controlled and tempo offense.
Julia Carnes fouled. She'll shoot 2.
Number 2, Grace Landon. That is her second personal foul.
Landvik hit with her second personal.
Be trouble. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Tiff takes Grace out here or lets her play through it.
Carnes scoring just 3.1, hasn't scored more than 8 this season in a game, and it looks like Landvik will stay in there for now.
Carnes has got a bright future ahead of her. Only a sophomore here, correct me if I'm wrong, but long, has a nice touch on her jumper. Should be a nice player down the road.
6'1" sophomore, you were right. Long skip, Coltis for 3. And that will be a good
put a body on Hackett. She's getting to every loose ball.
Dead ball rebound to the Crusaders, though. Interesting how we're seeing 2 trends emerge. Concordia trying to get that 3-point game going. And as you said, Mare Lutheran not afraid to run more flex plays.
Well, Concordia very guard-oriented, and they shoot the 3 well. They play to their strengths. Like I touched on earlier, kind of talking about Coach Chris. A good coach is going to design a system around the personnel they have and get the players to hopefully execute it the way they draw it up. That's beautiful. Oh, they've missed that pass about 3 or 4 times now. It's open. It's there. They just got to hit it.
Like you said, great read, and that was a layup right there for the taking. There's Sydney Pelzer getting her own miss. Coltis for 3, in and out. Again, Concordia scrapping for those offensive rebounds. I have to imagine if you were to compare the two, we don't have a statistician on board, but Concordia would own the boards just because of how much they're staying with it on the offensive side of the glass.
Gotta put bodies on them. Those girls do not give up.
And that sends Grace Landvik to the line. You hear Chris Gustin saying work harder. Landvik, one of the volleyball, basketball crossovers. Beacon volleyball often makes state. They finished 4th this past year. One of the top teams to watch in Class 2A.
Oh, jeez.
Another offensive rebound. And Tiffany Stubbs will call the timeout.
This will be an impassioned timeout speech from Coach Chris here yet. He's a good coach. There's no way he's going to stand for his girls not finding bodies like that. Can't give up rebounds off of free throws. That's one thing as a coach that will add to your gray hairs.
Now, was this tradition or custom? I've noticed here they like to play throwback tunes during timeouts.
That's going to be Lorenzo there in the DJ booth.
Now, of course, you also got to work with Tiffany Stubbs, who was your assistant before moving over to Minnehaha. She took over the head coaching position. And what would you say, what would you make of her from year 1 to year 2? Well, both of you have that in common. Second-year head coaches, and what Tiffany has done to continue what you started, I'd say, is commendable.
Well, Tiffany's a fantastic coach, and I could see at the moment we got her in the gym working with the JV girls. She communicates well with the kids, and the kids love her. And when the kids like the coach, they're always going to play hard for you. And it's obvious those girls will run through a wall for Tiffany.
Off the inbound, Tensaie to Pelzer. And all of those second chance opportunities, all those offensive rebounds, it pays off for the Beacons. Tensaie playing facilitator that time. And I had a chance to see her for the first time last year, but when you have someone like Tensaie, and I could tell she had a talent level unequal to the rest of the team, but she is one of those players that can make everyone else better. And for some of these vets who've had a chance to play alongside her,
without a doubt. Well, when you got a scorer like Ivane who attracts so much attention to the defense, that just opens up opportunities for everybody else around her.
well, Brooke Paulsrud answers back, so back-to-back scoring plays off of inbounds. Paulsrud up to 10. The rest of the Crusaders have 10 combined.
Looked like they got away from that junk defense here. They're matched up now. Guess they got tired of leaving that freshman out there on the perimeter.
Tensaie trying to work off the screen. Tough shot, doesn't go in.
Gotta push. There you go. Not there.
Shimileski. Last touch by the Beacons. Mary Lutheran 16-3. Their last loss came last week against Belle Plaine. Won their first 7 games of the season. And free throws coming for Olivia Chernagle.
Foul is on number 15, and that's Gracie Cultus, the second personal foul.
So Grace Coldus with 2 personal fouls. Chernagle, one of the volleyball-basketball crossovers for Mare Lutheran, and last summer played with the junior A1 team for USA Volleyball in Florida.
I believe it. She's long and very, very athletic.
Really enjoyed that, and Chernagle, 6'1" senior.
The foul is on number 11, Lexi Sherman. That is her first personal foul.
I'm looking forward to watching Sherman and Ivane here. This is a good battle.
1:20 to go in the first half. 2 contrasting styles. Tensaie needs just a little bit of space. Doesn't hit the 3 there.
You got numbers.
Mare Lutheran pushing. Tensaie able to stay upright and keep Emma Lade from scoring. The long skip, baseline drive. Nice move by Grace Coltis. Left her coverage in the dust. 40 seconds. Tough drive by Shimileski. It goes in.
Tough finish with the left hand there.
The Shimileski name, a well-known one of Mare Lutheran. Maya Shimileski, Abby. They've done great things for the Crusaders, and we have a 3-point game. Tensaie doing great things for the Beacons. They haven't updated the board yet for the 1,000-point club, but next season you'll see her name in first place. Crusaders with time. A little out of control, but they recover. No basket. But the first half, neck and neck. And with Concordia's hot streak, 9 in a row, and Mare Lutheran at 16-3, I'm not surprised that we have just a 3-point game at halftime.
It's been a good game thus far. You know, it was fun to see other girls step up outside the big 3 Concordia has, provide them some scoring. You know, I think Mare Lutheran's just a couple turnovers away, a couple missed layups away from being able to break this game open here. They're getting good looks at the rim right now. They just can't knock anything down.
I'm looking forward to what the second half will bring, and we'll bring that to you in a moment. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James, toss shot, it goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden and Minnehaha Academy head coach and athletic director at St. Thomas More, Matt Pryor, with me. 27-24 in favor of Concordia over Mayor Lutheran as we start the second half. And Matt, we talked a little bit about the rapport you built with Tiffany Stubbs. So what was that like? You know, you two came in together, and so younger head coaches going up against some more seasoned veterans, if you will. What were the challenges, and what did you enjoy most about the run you made to the section final 2 years ago?
Well, first off, you know, the kids here at Concordia, they're great kids. They work super hard. They'd show up each and every day with great attitudes. I never got any sort of pushback or talking back from the players. They're really, really sweet kids, and they work super hard. So that was fun, and that definitely helps with that transition as a young coach. When you're relating to the high school kids, if frankly they're willing to listen and apply what it is you're saying to the game. So that was a lot of fun. And then, you know, me and Tiffany have both been blessed with having people around us who have been there, done that. You know, I know her dad coached high school basketball for years. He has a wealth of experience. I was always able to turn to Josh Thorough and get coaching advice from him. So as a young coach, when you can surround yourself with people who have been there, done that, that's invaluable to you.
Well, Concordia, they brought the pressure, and something I'm going to keep an eye on, how
nice pass
will Mayor Lutheran handle the rebounding discrepancy, because the Beacons, they have the smaller team, but you noted this, without Wackles, the Beacons have been able to turn it up offensively and get a lot of second chances. So there's a foul there. So that will send Landvik to the line.
Yeah, I would imagine the majority of that halftime speech for Mayor Lutheran revolved around getting big on the boards here.
Landvik averaging 10.1 points per game. Pelzer 10.2.
A lot of second chance points opportunities for the Beacons here.
Landvik splits again. Now Lexi Sherman, number 11, we haven't talked about her a lot, but a fun fact about her, when she was 5 years old, she took part in wrestling for a season.
That doesn't surprise me. She's a competitor. She is a bulldog of a competitor.
Well, and I've had a chance to read a lot of fun facts about the players. Sherman missing the jumper there. And a lot of these athletes, even if they don't do multiple sports now, a lot of them tried everything. You know, Mallory Heyer from Chaska was in gymnastics before she just grew too tall for it and became one heck of a basketball player for Chaska. And, you know, over Minnehaha, I mean, we talk about the success with basketball, but on the boys' side, you've got a lot of football crossovers. For the girls, Mia Curtis playing volleyball and track.
Well, it translates well when you're a multi-sport athlete. It's different movement patterns. You're developing all areas of your athleticism, your strength. It showcases itself without a doubt.
Sydney Pelzer, one of them, knocks down the three. Tensaie with the dime, and even though Ivane hasn't scored at the rate she can, she's made some key assists for the Beacons here.
When they take you away as a scorer, you got to be able to keep your teammates involved and be a playmaker, and Ivane's done a really good job of that.
And Brooke Balsrud doing what she can to keep Mayor Lutheran in this. The recipient of some great passes. Well, Paige Beckers comes to mind. I remember the first time I called her in a game, second time actually, with Lacrosse Aquinas. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn that night, but focused on becoming the facilitator. And there's a reason she leads the state in assists, because she's that unselfish.
Well, and that's how you get to be the #1 player in the country. You don't just got one trick in your bag. She can do it all. That's what makes her such a great player. Nice pass.
Crusaders scoring in transition, Morgan Chmielewski. Well, and you can attest to that. Mia Curtis in the top 10 in assists. So even though we love to see her knock down those James Harden step-back threes, she can create offense outside of that shot too.
Absolutely. Well, it starts with being a great scorer. Nice shot.
And there's someone who can create offense. Tensaie with her third triple. I remember hearing about her as a freshman, and then the first time I got to see her play against you guys as a sophomore, I could see why Ivane was getting a lot of recognition as Paulsberg goes to the line. The only Mare Lutheran player that's really found a rhythm here.
That is part of the beauty of Mare Lutheran, though, and just how they're built as a team. They don't need any one particular girl to go off for 30. Like I touched on earlier, they got 5 girls out there on the floor who can put the ball through the net. Very, very balanced team. That can be tough to coach and scheme against.
Nobody from Mare Lutheran has scored more than 24 in a game this season.
That's balanced team basketball right there.
And their top 3 all average about 11, 12 points per game. So, again, no lights-out score, but as you said,
nice
a lot
move,
of players can beat you.
Nice move.
The Beacons, I'm not sure what the common thread is with this 9-game win streak, but they're using their speed, their quickness, and their scrappiness to full effect in this one.
That's missed layups by Mare Lutheran. That's the story of the game right now. That last possession, though, that crossover that Grace had in the lane, that's a really, really tough move. And if Sydney Pelzer's hitting her threes, Mare Lutheran's in trouble. Coach got to call timeout here.
Largest lead of the game for the Beacons.
Yeah.
And that, an unforced error, that's the worst thing you want against the Beacons team that's heating up. And as you said in the first half, if the auxiliary players get going, look out. And here we see Drack, she has 9, Pelzer, Landvik had that great move, and that's only going to open the door for Tensaie. There she is, bullseye.
Well, and that's why she's leading the state in threes right there. Not only is she a great shooter, but they've run that elevator screen set to her about 6 or 7 times now this game alone. That's an action they've gone to quite a bit. If Mare Lutheran doesn't make some adjustments to that set, they're going to be in trouble.
And going back to what I was saying, Pelzer and Landvik and the others getting some nice plays in, that's going to give Tensaie more space because, as you said, now they have to respect the others.
Opens everything up. Tough shot.
That was number 12, Olivia Chernagel. And, well, the PA, what was his name again?
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
He was the best PA announcers in the state here.
He was
fantastic at what he does.
That was a soft touch.
She looked like a volleyball player there. She high pointed the ball, she kept it high, and she finished high. Nice run out.
Crusaders running the floor, and they needed a couple plays to go their way, and Shimileski will have a chance to shoot too. Shimmy is one of her nicknames, which may come as no surprise. And when you look at the history of the Shimileski family and what they've done for Mare Lutheran, it's fun to see.
Well, she competes like she had older siblings coming before her. She went toe-to-toe with my point guard, Mia Curtis, and did not back down, didn't blink, didn't flinch. She's a tough athlete.
Another volleyball, basketball crossover at Mare Lutheran. Missing the free throws, though, but Mare Lutheran gets the ball right back. That's number 23, Madeline Getsko. We'll stay with Mare Lutheran.
I don't give a flying savages. Like, what?
Shimileski for 3. It's
That's
there.
a big shot. They needed that. That's a big shot. Got to follow it up with a stop now.
7-point game. Morgan Shimileski up to 9.
They are running Ivane through the elevator, or stagger.
Tensaie gets a friendly bounce.
Ran her through a stagger screen there. They're doing a great job of putting her in positions where she can just make plays.
And I love that pump fake she used to get open for that runner. Chmielewski again, 3 is short. You saw Mare Lutheran close in on her for that 3, and Tensaie knew exactly what to do. And as Pelzer gets the layup off a pump fake, I go back to what Scott Van Pelt used to say. The pump fake works only every single time. Another missed bunny for the Crusaders, but they get another rebound out of it. Morgan Chmielewski off balance. Another rebound. Well, Mare Lutheran's now starting to scrap more for those offensive rebounds.
Coach must have got on him at halftime there. They've been attacking the boards with renewed vigor this half.
Well, and sometimes, as a coach, you know this. Sometimes you got to give your players a little push.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Soft coaches make soft teams. It's never a bad thing to challenge your kids.
Here's Anna Karls. Inside, Emma Lade will shoot 2.
That's tough right away. They sub in the freshman and they go right at her.
Foul on number 35, Angela Sigmund, her second.
Mare Lutheran just 5 games after this. Of course, being in Class A, you have to trim your regular season by a game or 2 to account for the section games. But they are the top team in 4A. Heritage Christian could be a team to watch in that section. Mare Lutheran did beat them, but not by much, 58-57. So that could be a battle to watch in 4A. Well, and usually get to see those because I think the 4A or 4AA is
tough shot.
Card scores. 4A and 4AA, they're both at Anoka Ramsey in the section final. Yep. So yeah, you get to see this. Well, as long as your Red Hawks keep qualifying.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
Right, you get to see a little bit of that talent. And Ivane Tensaie.
It's a great move.
That was a great take.
Rejects the screen, gets her leaning, and finishes high.
And that's an advantage that sharpshooters like her or Mia Curtis have, especially if you're knocking down 3s. Well, a lot of them can drive.
Coach Tiff's doing a really good job of putting Ivane in positions where she can be successful. Mare Lutheran has now run that same exact play every single inbounds underneath the bucket. It's working, so I wouldn't get away from it.
Can they get a stop? They still trail by 9 as Concordia finding more rhythm on offense. Here's Lainey Drock. She had 3 triples off the bench. Lost her handle there.
Last touchdown, Concordia Academy, number 15, Gracie Coltis, back on for the Pigeons.
Kick ball.
Kick ball.
And speaking of a small school ball, Matt, another thing that I'm sure you're accustomed to, smaller gyms like this one.
They get loud.
They do get loud.
They get loud, especially when you got impassioned fans like Concordia fans here. They'll let you hear about it.
Well, I was at the De La Salle Holy Angels game on Friday. No different there. But I have to imagine for a coach and for fans, it may not.
This is going up.
Tensaie, keep an eye on her. I was going to say you may not get the capacity that the Lindbergh Center or Joe Mauer Fieldhouse do, but it provides an intimate atmosphere.
Absolutely. It creates a really neat environment because there's nothing worse than when you're in a gym that's huge and you can hear a pin drop in it. It's awkward for players, for the coaches, for the referees. It's always nice you can get an environment with a little bit of life in it.
I know for me as a broadcaster, it gets awkward when the gym falls silent, and I ran into that, I think, at Totino Grace. And I'm trying to keep my voice low because I don't want the players to hear me. That's why, if the circumstances allow, I usually am stationed away from the benches because I don't want to get into the player's psyche.
Well, hey, you're not the only one.
Deacons running the floor. Mayor Lutheran gets a deflection. Looking ahead for Concordia Academy. They play tomorrow with New Life Academy. Southwest Christian, they'll go on the road to play them on Friday.
That'd be a good game. That Southwest Christian team's a sleeper team.
And another team in 5AA that I might make a trek to see is Blake, one of your conference rivals.
You got them tomorrow. Spent all today in practice prepping for them. They got a little 7th grade guard, Addie Mack, and
That's who I was thinking
fun
of.
to watch. My goodness.
Addison Mack, Kate Moe.
I've never seen a girl at Addie's age handle the ball the way she does. She's very, very confident with it, savvy, doesn't make 7th grade mistakes. She's got a nice little floater that she'll throw up with the right and the left hand. She's a nice player. It's going to be fun following her career for years to come. Nice cut. Great cut.
Layup's a little short. Mayor Lutheran, this is the lifeline they're looking for. Backdoor, yes! You got to admire Lorenzo, the PA guy, because he's not afraid to tout great plays for either team. I could see where you get your admiration. Well, that's one reason I enjoy covering your games, is you always have something nice to say, and Lorenzo, he's not afraid to give props where it's due, even if it's not for Concordia.
Well, it's just being a basketball fan, and it's really cool to see how engaged and how involved the high school girls basketball community is. People such as yourself, people all the way down to PA announcers like Lorenzo. It makes it a fun experience for the kids, for the fans, and there's a serious community surrounding it. It's a blessing, and it's fun to be a part of it.
Well, I've joked that I enjoy it more when I don't have a dog in the fight. So by broadcasting the game, I know I can't control it because I'm not a good loser. So I get to watch it and have fun because I don't have to worry about calling a play or making a call that could influence the game. I get to see it all play out. And
absolutely. Well, it's certainly weird for me to be here in this gym and not have a dog in this fight. I got to say, it is a welcome relief here. This is the calmest I've ever been in this gym. It's a good thing.
I had a couple of Concordia kids, including the student manager for the Beacons, recognized me. He came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm a big fan." I've had that more than once this year.
All you got to do is look at your views on YouTube. There, you're making a name for yourself.
Julia Carnes will shoot too. So Levi Streiber came up to me and "I'm a big fan. I'm glad you're here." And I think the most flattering and embarrassing moment came at Minnetonka St. Louis Park as Carnes mixed the front end. A kid from Shakopee who I covered earlier in the season, girl saw me from the Shakopee Holy Angels game, came up and asked to take my photo with her.
That's awesome.
I
Well,
didn't know what
goes
to
to
do.
show the appreciation people have for what it is you do. This is a really cool media outlet that you provide for the kids. I know my girls love watching it. Anytime they know you're in the gym, they love watching the broadcast. You do a really good job with it. And for the most part, this is a very untapped market. And you do a great job providing outlets and opportunities for a lot of these kids to see themselves up on YouTube with some quality commentary over it. It's a fun thing.
Well, Grace Golta scored on the other end for the Beacons. Mayor Lutheran throws it away. That's another unforced error.
They are just not sharp with the seal and lob over the top. They got about 6 or 7 turnovers with that. And it's open. It's there. They're just not operating quite as sharp as they need to right now. If they start hitting on that, though, Concordia's going to watch out because they can get themselves back in this game.
And speaking of commentary, this is not to say they're the better team. Concordia Academy, as you've seen up close and as I've seen the last couple of years, they can hang with some of these top contenders. The Matabidi win proved as much. So Mayor Lutheran, they made a couple of miscues, but Concordia, they're just as responsible for this 7-point lead.
Both of these teams are really, really tough teams. Either one of these teams can go up and play 3A opponents and win some ball games. And that's
Concordia did.
That's one of the common things I think where small school basketball is looked down on as almost secondary. So it's always nice when you can see Concordia get a win over a over a big 3A school, and there's no doubt in my mind Mayor Lutheran could take on a bigger opponent and give them a good run.
Absolutely. Well, and they've taken on some 2A teams in their section or geographically related. And at the higher level, my mind goes to De La Salle. Folks call 3A the JV version of 4A, and De La Salle this year picking up 2 big wins over Eden Prairie and St. Michael Albertville. Tiffany and I were talking before the game, and I told her, and I've told every coach this, everything I thought I knew about this season went out the window after the first month with all of the upsets, close games. The parity this year is just incredible. And there were coaches who had told me, I'm not sure Hopkins will have any close games, and Wayzata and STMA gave him runs, as we've seen all over AA, AAA.
That's part of the beauty of basketball.
Anything can happen.
It's a wild game, especially with how many threes everybody's shooting nowadays. All
Absolutely.
it takes is for one team to get hot or another team to be cold, and you can have an outcome that surprises everybody.
We've got a foul here, 6:35 to go, and the Beacons up 52-43. I know this wouldn't help the Beacons and QRF, but to follow up the win over Matamidi last week with a win over Mayor Lutheran, I have to imagine would be a huge jolt to Concordia's confidence.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, they're playing really, really good basketball. And it's amazing what confidence will do for you in regards to the product out there on the floor when you are playing confident. These girls have the talent. I kept telling my Minnehaha girls as they were score checking and tracking this Concordia team, I think as they dropped their first 6 or 7 games, I told them, I said, don't doubt this team. They're going to be right in it here at the end, and they're starting to prove that now.
Shimileski at the line, 1-1 scenario for the Crusaders. I remember you and I, we were surprised when Fridley beat them. Of course, Fridley building up with a young core, and when you look at some of those scores, St. Anthony Village, that was a 2-point loss. So the Beacons were right there. They just needed to get past that proverbial hump, as they say, and over the last 9 games they have.
Well, and playing in tight games like that, too, that serves you so well once you hit this stretch of the season. Overtime games, tight games, they make you tougher.
But Ivane Tensaie makes things a little easier for you. Another 3-pointer. She's up to 20.
They keep rubbing her off the screens, and Mayor Lutheran doesn't have an answer for it. That's
Count
a tough
it.
shot.
MLA gives Mayor Lutheran a much-needed bucket as they try to hang around.
That was a big shot.
That's the 3rd foul on Hackett. Go ahead. It looked like you're going to say something.
Ivane goes down and hits that big 3 to be able to come back with an and one possession like that. That was a really, really nice shot from Mayor Lutheran there. Big play.
Well, as you've mentioned all broadcasts, Mayor Lutheran, they're no slouch. They can hang with some of the higher level teams in terms of class, so they're not going to get rattled in the slightest with an opposing 3-pointer.
Absolutely. Deep, too.
Now that you don't see as often. But another offensive rebound, and it pays off. Pelzer with the layup. If Concordia hangs on to win this game, offensive rebounds will be a big reason why.
Sydney Pelzer's having a really nice game.
Oh, my goodness.
Tough shot. This is going to be a heck of a finish here. Both of these teams have found a rhythm.
Free throws coming for Grace Landvik.
You can tell both of these teams were kind of feeling each other out there in the first half. They're letting it loose now. Both of them have found a rhythm. They're getting up and down the floor, playing fast, playing with tempo. These last 5 minutes are going to be a dogfight.
Shooting 2 is Grace Landvik, and I will agree with that assessment. Remember, these two teams hadn't played each other in a long time, and so Tiffany was there to see the Mayor Lutheran Minnehaha game, and I'm sure Chris went to some Concordia games. But it's one thing to go over tape, it's another to actually play each other.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Got to get her a touch there.
Well, Tiffany Stubbs and I were joking about all the broadcasts and leaking out secrets, but even with all the footage that's out there thanks to Huddle and the broadcasts around the Metro, yes, you might pick up on tendencies, but you don't really know what to expect until you play them head on. So you can prepare all you want, but
absolutely,
it's all about execution, and it's a chess match.
Without a doubt. You know, I hear a lot of coaches getting concerned with their film getting around, and I mean, everybody films nowadays. A lot of gyms already have the National High School Federation cameras installed in their gym. So getting game film isn't an issue. Now, that's where it really comes down to coaching. Can you make adjustments as a coach? Do you have counters to your sets? So on and so forth. It's made it much more of a chess match now with how accessible film is these days.
They're Lutheran not going away. Olivia Charnagle. Lorenzo, you just might be my favorite PA announcer.
He's incredible.
Back in a flash.
He's incredible. He was doing PA announcing even back when I was a player.
Concordia almost lost it. They hang on. This would be a big three, but Pelzer can't knock it down. Crusaders get a stop. 4.5 to play. Pass deflected. Shimileski out to Lade.
I'm trying to go out of on here.
15-footer is good.
Nice shot.
And a timeout, Chris Guston. Olivia Charnagle, she's up to 10. And Mare Lutheran, they've been able to answer every Concordia punch. As you said, can they get a series of stops? Because it's been back and forth, and that won't help the Crusaders here with 4:15 to go.
No doubt. Coming out of a timeout here, I'm interested to see what coach draws up here. This is typically one of those situations where you go to one of your money plays here. You draw up a set, you get your kids schemed up, let them know what their responsibilities are, and hope they go out and execute it here. This will be a nice ATO here.
I'll be curious to see what happens. Charnagle averaging 5.5 a game, her season high is 12. But going back to that balance, Shimileski, 11 points or more in 4 of her last 5 games. Lexi Sherman had a strong start to the year, 11 or more in 7 of her first 9. Emma Lade, 3 20-point games, 10 or more in 9 of the last 10. So even if Mare Lutheran doesn't get the win, we're seeing why they are going to be a tough out in Section 4A.
Well, you look at both of these teams. You just look up at the scoreboard here. The scoring spread is very even. They're playing team basketball. They're all playing together. You know, Concordia's got 3 girls in triple digits, almost 4. That's a really, really tough scoring spread there if you're going to put up numbers like that.
And don't forget 9 off the bench from Lainey Drock, and that was a big help in the first half as the teams are feeling each other out. Key ATO sequence for the Beacons. Baseline J, swish. That's the first basket for Sydney Hackett. And Concordia, they've been able to keep Mare Lutheran at bay. Tensaie, she was thinking about it, but I don't blame them for running a little time off the clock here. Oh, Tensaie.
This is where the clock is not your friend if you're Mare Lutheran. Concordia is not going to settle for anything other than a really, really good shot here. They got to get up. Oh, she was baiting that.
Tensaie hit from behind, and that will put Ivane at the line. Well, and that's what made your comeback from 19-9 against Sauk Center all the more impressive, because you don't have the benefit of a shot clock. You've got to stay disciplined, get stops, and have a few breaks.
Well, and when you got a ball handler like Ivane, too, just like I have at Mia, you know, we'll go 4 corners and just dribble the air out the ball there. If we got a lead with 3-4 minutes left on the clock, when you got a lead guard who can control the tempo the way Mia or Ivane does, it makes your job easy as a coach. Because, yeah, no shot clock. Why wouldn't you just hold on to it? Force a defense to foul you or come up and guard you tight.
Ivane makes both free throws to push the lead to 12. Mare Lutheran, you can tell they're trying to
need this.
Work their way back in a hurry. Jump ball, Concordia with the arrow. Now, even though Ivane is not a fan of chocolate and peanut butter,
Mare's going to come with a press here. They have to. Yep.
Well, they have to with 2:58. I was going to say with Ivane, if you follow her on social media, you'll notice the Ethiopian flag on her Twitter profile. Her family has strong lineage to that country, and real proud of it. And Ivane, just one of many who proved that anyone can ball.
Without a doubt. Oh, no.
There's the press from Mare Lutheran. Concordia cannot break it. Well, they do after a couple of lucky bounces.
Hold it here. This is where you got to have situational fouls.
And nobody in serious foul trouble for Mare Lutheran, so they can use them here. And Grace Coltis at the line. Made her last two. I'm guessing in a situation like that, as long as it's not Tensaie, you'll take it.
Without a doubt. You don't want the ball in Ivane's hands.
I'm guessing you tell your Minnehaha players that whenever you two meet.
Well, without a doubt. You know, as a coach, you always know in situations like this if there's certain players who get a touch, who you're going to foul, who you're not going to foul. That's just somewhere you call a timeout and you get your girls prepped up for it.
Mare Lutheran got the stop, deflected off Concordia. 2:24 to go. As the Beacons look for win number 10 in a row. Here comes Chernobyl and Lade back in there.
Need a bucket here. It's going to be a lob over the top here.
Mare Lutheran fans saying shoot it. And that's been a story of this game, a lot of missed opportunities down low. And sometimes that happens. We talk about living and dying by the three. Sometimes your layups can go that way as well. Pelzer at the line for a 1-and-1. Now I'm curious, Matt, as Concordia shoots these free throws, how surreal is it, when you go up against a former coaching colleague when you and Tiffany do battle?
There were, without a doubt, there were a lot of emotions going into that section championship last year. I think the dust has kind of settled, though, just in terms of all the feelings that came with it. I know those Concordia girls were sad to see me go. I was sad I didn't get to coach a lot of those girls moving forward, but when the Minnehaha opportunity came along, I knew it was the shift I had to make, and I'm glad I did, without a doubt. But without a doubt, there's a little bit of extra added emotion and edge going into those matchups there.
And I wonder if Tiffany sent you a thank you card because that gave her an opportunity to showcase her skills as a head coach. I know she loves it here, and still a 12-point margin as Morgan Shimileski got the lay from Mare Lutheran and a timeout with 2:13 to go. But it's fun to see the next generation. I talk about this all the time with the 7th graders like Addie Mack at Blake or the Leah White Maranatha. I was at the North Maranatha game on Saturday, and North had a 7th grader hit 4 3-pointers in Josiah White. So you and Tiffany represent the next generation, if you will, for coaching, and to see a lot of these young guns or folks like Ivane blossom into the player she is, or Mare Lutheran. That's why I keep coming back.
It's fun. There's something to be said, too, for having the older generation make themselves available to you as a young coach, as a player. There's great leadership that comes with being a part of the basketball community. A lot of people who have been there, done that. A lot of people who are more than willing to lend an ear, offer advice, and that goes a long ways, all the way from players to coaches.
And I see that attitude all around.
Let Ivane get it. There's a problem here. There's a problem.
Problem for Mare Lutheran because Ivane has so many tricks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Mare Lutheran.
You got to convert this.
Less than 2 minutes to go. Here comes Sherman right into a wall. Gets go with the O-board, and again, the way Concordia has collapsed down low tonight, just preventing several layups. I know Mare Lutheran's had their share. As you said before, when you played against Concordia and then they dropped the first 6, you were telling your Minnehaha kids, don't look at the record.
You can't sleep on them.
And what is it about Concordia where you want to maybe take that 1-8 start that they have with a grain of salt? What is it about them that stood out to you?
They're talented kids, first off. And, when you're talented like they are, you're not going to keep a losing streak like that going on. They got a coach who believes in them. They got a coach that the girls really like. You knew they were going to right the ship. It was just a matter of time, and they've certainly righted the ship, and they're cruising now. They're playing really, really good, clean basketball.
125 away from their 10th straight win. And those wins coming against the likes of Heritage Christian, another top team in Class A, Matamidi last week. They'll add another quality win unless something crazy happens in Mare Lutheran. And that's the beauty of playing a sport that has a season as long as basketball. You play 25, 26 games, where, football, if you go on a tough stretch, you don't have much time to recover. Same with volleyball or soccer. Basketball, you get 3 months, so you can have a 1-8 start and then bounce back. As Tiffany pointed out to me, they have not lost a game this calendar year.
High school basketball season is a long, long season. You got to be ready to be in it for the long haul, for better or for worse. That's a testament to the Beacons and the job they've done. They didn't quit. They didn't give up. They kept their head down, didn't listen to the noise, and they're playing good basketball now.
And without a doubt, they will be a team to watch in 4AA. I know if you draw Concordia again, I'm not sure where. It's going to depend on seeding, and QRF is a beast of its own, but...
Isn't that the truth?
Well, Concordia... They're behind Cristo Rey and Humboldt, so they would be the 4 seed as of now. Now, there's still a month left, so who knows what will happen.
Well, but I got to say, they're going to be one of the most dangerous 4 seeds Section 4-2A's ever seen.
Brooke Paulsrud hits the 3, so Mare Lutheran doing what they can. And Paulsrud up to 17 points. And we should give her props coming in, starting for Lily Wachholz, and she's got a new season high. Her previous was 10. So Brooke Paulsrud, even if Mare Lutheran doesn't get the win, she brought a lot to this game. And when Wachholz comes back, that's going to give Mare Lutheran more depth.
Oh, without a doubt. That's a tough shot. She's been scoring inside, and then to pull a shot like that, a couple steps behind the arc, that just showed what all she has in her arsenal.
And a senior as well. This Mare Lutheran team, they'll be one to watch. I wasn't sure what to expect. Again, a rivalry that had been dormant for such a long time, but this has been a fun battle. Mare Lutheran has showed us why they're one of the top teams in Class A. Concordia Academy, I know some folks might look at, well, how could Concordia beat this team and then Mare Lutheran beats Minnehaha? But as you said, the way basketball is, it's crazy, and how you look at who beats who, and you could run simulations of those same matchups this year and you would get 10 different results.
I'd say 100 different results.
100,
there.
probably right. 100 would sounds right.
That is the beauty of basketball, though. If you shoot it well and you catch a team on a cold night, you're always going to have a chance. And there's something to be said for being the type of team who believes that you have a chance, too. You can't discredit that.
And I have to think, you and Tiffany coming in, and Vaughn was a freshman, getting them to the section final, which was the first time, I think.
First time in school history.
Follow that up. So I know for you it's tough to go against them, but I'm sure the fan in you was proud to see that Concordia is able to continue what you helped build.
Without a doubt. There was a standard of success that was set, and these girls got to taste it. And, once you've been to the mountaintop, and looked over all there is to see, is nothing else matches up to it.
And the culture that started when you and Tiffany came in is continuing to grow.
Absolutely. Well, and we were blessed to step into a situation where there was a lot of talent.
I mean, it does help when you have Ivane Tensaie, or then you move over and get Mia Curtis. Of course, there's more to it than that. You can have top players, but you got to get them to believe in each other, believe in your system, as Chernobyl scores again. And, Mare Lutheran, even if they're going to come up short here, they're still getting after it. They're not folding up, so I got to give them credit to just fighting through it, even if they won't come up with the win tonight.
They don't give up. They're not rolling over and dying. Mare Lutheran's got a really nice blend of upperclassmen and some underclassmen here as I look over their roster. They're going to be okay moving forward. Concordia is really interesting just in the sense that they are very, very top-heavy. That junior class they have is absolutely loaded. They got a really nice senior class with a Coltus and a Hackett up there. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get some younger kids, bring them along, and get them to contribute there. It was nice to see the freshman there hit a couple threes there in the first half.
Lady Drock.
I'd be curious to see if she can continue that moving forward. And if Concordia can get some production from their underclassmen, they're going to be a problem moving forward.
I was going to say, in your head as a coach, you're probably thinking, I hope Lenny isn't shooting like that if we meet again, but
absolutely.
I go back to something Eric Jimson said when I covered, he and I both called the North St. Paul Minnehaha boys game, and Shaheed Mohammed at 37, even though Minnehaha got the win, Eric said, coaches and your teammates, they are going to watch how you perform in a situation, because it's easy when you're winning, it's more fun that way, but in a situation where, in the case of Mare Lutheran, they've been trailing by around 10 most of this game, how do you play? Do you show up and make those plays even when the outcome is decided? And Mare Lutheran, they've done that tonight, and so even if they don't win this game, they've demonstrated why they will be a top contender in their section.
Without a doubt. And true competitors, they're going to compete regardless of the score.
Well, Mia Curtis comes to mind. She had 25 in that game against Como Park. Any other night, we would have talked about that. Of course, Como got a big win that time, but Mia just kept after it.
She
right.
hates to lose. And you can tell these Mare Lutheran girls aren't going to go out without a fight here. They're still swinging yet.
And to me, that's a hallmark of the perennial contenders, where even if you get your butts kicked, I know it's probably not fun for you when you're losing by 30 points, but like you said, Mia's not going to quit. They'll still get after it, and
well, it's part of your culture.
Right.
There's pride that comes from a program that's used to winning and accepts nothing other than the win, and the kids embody that.
And we're seeing that out of Mare Lutheran tonight. But how about Concordia? They've scored 46 points this half. As you said, after that first half of getting to feel each other, Concordia was the one to get that degree of separation and held on to it all the way through the second half.
They let it loose. You got 4 girls in double digits. That's a really nice scoring spread.
And as much as we talk about Tensaie, they have 2 others that average double figures in scoring.
Their junior class is loaded. Sydney Pelzer's had a really good game. Grace Landvik's always tough. And then just adding Grace Coltas like they did this year, the transfer. They're a dangerous team.
Well, Pelzer just picked up her second 20-point game in a row, and Chernagle. And I believe with that layup, she has a season high. Yeah, so Mare Lutheran, you get Paulsrud with a season high. Chernagle just set a new season high. And that's fun to see, too. And Pelzer, back-to-back 20-point games, coming off a season high 21 over Crystal Ray, 21-12 in that one. So that will do it. Concordia Academy with their 10th straight win over a top-tier Class A team, 75-64. Ivane Tensaie, 22 points. Sydney Pelzer, 20. Concordia's scrappiness in the first half and offensive fluidity in the second half. Whatever hurdles they had at the start of the year, I'd say they've cleared them in a big way.
Well, Concordia won every 50-50 ball. They kind of out-hustled Mare Lutheran there in the first half. And, missing Wachholtz, it was obvious. She's a large post presence for them inside. A lot of their offense is designed around post touches. And defensively, anytime you can put a girl who's 6'2" with long arms and lateral mobility, that makes it tough to score in the paint. Concordia kind of opened it up the second half. They started shooting it better, and Mare Lutheran just couldn't score with them there. It was a heck of a ball game. Mare Lutheran did not quit, but Concordia just had way too much offensive firepower coming at them tonight.
Too much tonight, but it was a fun one to watch, as you said. 2 new season highs from Mare Lutheran and another fine display from Tensaie. We'll try to get a word with Ivane and Sydney Pelzer before we wrap it up here from Concordia Academy at Roseville. The Beacons pick up their 10th straight win. Joining me are Sydney Pelzer and Ivane Tensaie. Sydney, we'll start with you. Back-to-back 20-point games. I know with Concordia Academy, the conversation usually starts with Ivane, and for good reason, but for you to get back-to-back 20-point games, and especially tonight against a top-tier Class A team, what does that mean for you?
To me, it's very special, but I just try to work my hardest and do my best for my teammates.
You've won 10 games in a row now after an 0-6 start. How satisfying is it to steer the ship and go on this big run?
It's very satisfying. It's very nice to come back from a lot of losses and get a lot of wins, so yeah.
And what would you make of this cross-sport rivalry? Because, of course, you went against them in volleyball, being a volleyball-basketball crossover, and there used to be a rivalry on the basketball court. Now, hopefully this will be rekindled. So for you to go up against some familiar faces, what does that mean to go up against that kind of talent?
It definitely felt very competitive for me, definitely.
Ivane, 22 points, added a few more triples to your season. We'll try that yeah. Sorry. Ivane, you got 22 points, added a few more triples to your lead in the season race, and of course added a few more to your scoring record. What would you say is the common thread with this 10-game win streak the Beacons have put up?
When we were really just trying to come out with energy, it's really about the team. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help them out and make sure we get the win.
And what I saw from you and Sydney and the rest of the team, scrappiness on offensive rebounds. You were the smaller team, but you were hustling and beating Mayor Lutheran on the boards. How do you think that helped you?
Yeah, well, it did a lot for us. Gave us a few more extra possessions with those offensive rebounds, so it really helped a lot just to be meet their level of intensity.
And of course, your auxiliary players helping as well. Lainey Draw getting 3 triples in the first half, and then Pelzer and others stepping up. How does that help create opportunities for you?
Well, it's huge. I mean, having other players that can contribute really opens things up for me, and just to get the whole team going helps us win overall. So.
Now, you didn't get another 40-point game tonight, but last week you did set the school record for career scoring, and you've got another year to go. What does it mean for you to have that piece of history here at Concordia Academy?
It's really just a blessing, all thanks to God, and to my teammates too for looking for me out on the court and really just hitting me with the good passes, and yeah, credit to them.
And what would you say is your secret to your 3-point success?
Repetition, that's it. And God's blessed me with the gift, and I'm just thankful that I'm able to play with these girls and use it.
Do you have any sharpshooters in the pros that you idolize?
Definitely Steph Curry.
I was thinking Steph Curry or James Harden. I bet one of those two. And Sydney, have you picked up anything from her 3-point shooting style?
Yeah, I always try to compete with her, so it's fun, but I always lose.
Well, you do have some state volleyball runs in your resume.
Yeah.
So you've got that on Ivane, but I'm sure in real life, though, that you two don't really worry about that. It's fun to have these kinds of memories and fun to do what you did tonight. So you want to say hi to anybody?
I want to say hi to my mom and my dad. Thanks for supporting me.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Roby and Beza.
And before we wrap up, Ivane, I understand you're not a fan of chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
Not your thing. So Reese's not part of your pregame or postgame ritual?
Definitely not.
What are your preferences?
Skittles.
Skittles. Just like Tiffany. Yeah. No wonder why. You two are on the same wavelength. I can see why you have all this success together. All right. So if you want to please Ivane, get Skittles, not chocolate or peanut butter. Save that for Sydney, I presume, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Congrats on the win, and enjoy the Skittles tonight. And make sure you save some for tomorrow.
For sure, yeah.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Sydney Pelzer and Ivane Tensaie, and that wraps it up here from Concordia Academy in Roseville. For Matt Pryor and the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thanks for watching.